Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. I have with me Venu, which I'm sure you recognise from Venu's cricket catch-up. How are you doing, Venu?
I'm good. Yeah, another good days of cricket.
Yeah,
So been busy watching 3 Test matches. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
been good.
As you said, it can almost be like a full-time job, but enjoyable one anyway. Out of that, so
Well,
very,
at
very,
times.
yeah, at times when your team's doing well, but yeah, jam-packed schedule at the moment. But anyway, end of day one, it was Shubman Gill on 28 not out, Pujara on 7 not out. India were 36-1. So we're going to talk about day two of the Australia versus India Test match. Okay, so obviously at this point, India, I think we can safely say after day one, we're in control of the Test match. After day one, anyway. And Shubman Gill looked quite good early doors. Again, I think he looked good here. Him and Pujara. Pujara, obviously, we know how slowly he will score. You know, he's just that type of anchor that you have in a team. But Shubman Gill scoring pretty quickly. The strike rate over 60. But there was a very, very good contest between Pat Cummins and Shubman Gill in that first session that I want to touch upon because I thought, look, this is a youngster who's 21 years old and looks to have a pretty solid technique, quite confident. Obviously, he's making his Test debut, so it's very impressive that he played the way he did, I thought, in the end. But Pat Cummins obviously running, and Shane Warne said he's never seen Pat Cummins running this fast in a few years. I think I saw him it was a previous Test match. I think it was the first one. He was bowling quite quick, but he was getting up to, I think, it was almost like 150 Ks. So we're talking in the mid 90s. And for him, that's quick, especially in Test cricket and how good he bowls as well, how well he bowls even in Test matches. Wasn't getting the reward early doors, but it was knocking on the door. What do you think of the early session? Because one thing Shane Warne pointed out is that obviously before the wickets fell, he said that Hazlewood and Cummins were bowling well, but maybe a tad short. And they showed a graphic that showed that they were bowling a little bit shorter than they did in the first Test match. And that's why they were beating the bat, but they weren't really getting those nicks that they wanted. What do you think, Vinny?
What did I think of what? What do you mean?
As in, did you think they were bowling a bit shorter than maybe they should have been? They're bowling well, but maybe they could have nudged their length forward a little bit to maybe challenge the batsman to get on the front foot to drive.
Yeah, like I think that tactic worked well during the second innings when India collapsed. They pitched up a bit fuller, but I think it was quite good to give some of the Indian batsmen some of the short treatment, see how they coped. Yeah, I'm sure the bowlers would have known what length to bowl to the batsman. So just leave it to them, really.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think I agree with you in terms of the short stuff. I think mixing up with bounces, etc., and short balls is really effective. I think he was more thinking that they were kind of erring on the edge of good to short length rather than the good to full length. And there was that little bit of difference, which I think eventually when Cummins got Shubman Gill, which was a good ball, Shubman Gill, see a bit of a loose shot from him as well, but it was that little bit fuller to drive him. But maybe it was a tactic that they used to kind of draw it in after, thinking, well, Pepe say they're maybe more on the back foot and then go fuller, which could have been a tactic as well. What do you think about the dismissal? I thought a little bit loose from him and a bit disappointing after very impressive 45. I think maybe got a little bit bogged down, maybe, Venu?
What was his dismissal again?
So Nick behind from Cummins straight to Tim Payne. Very, very thin edge, driving at full ball, kind of just outside, I'd say that 4-stump line, trying to drive basically through the covers.
So you think you could have left it, or?
Yeah, I think he should have left it. I don't think it was something to play at.
Okay. So yeah, so I think he will be disappointed the way he got out. Yeah, but he does look good for a batsman that age. But yeah, he made a good start, but be disappointed not to reap the rewards by keeping batting for the day.
Yeah, 100%. But I think Pat Cummins obviously and Hazlewood did really well in that first session, and then eventually got their reward. And obviously Pujara then fell pretty soon after. Really quality catch from Tim Payne. I thought diving to his right, And after a mistake earlier on where he dropped Shubman Gill, I think it was,
Yeah.
which again was a pretty hard chance because the inside edge. I thought he atoned for that. And at that point, right, India are 64 for 3. And in my head, I'm just thinking they've got two new batsmen really to look at in Vihari and Rahane. And I know Rahane, we know that he's a very accomplished batsman, average of about, I think it's in the 40s. And Vihari is pretty new as well. But I'm just thinking, look, with Stark, Cummins, and Hazelwood running in my head, I'm thinking, you know what? They've got they've got their bit between the teeth, and they're going to really run in, and they could pick up a few more wickets here, and they could be really, really messy for India. But it wasn't. They recovered obviously very well, and Rahane 104 off 200 for him. Very, very impressive knock from the standing captain. What do you think, Venu, of that knock? Because I think he hasn't scored 100 in, I think it was 6 years in Australia or something, or at the MCG anyway. Impressive from the standing captain.
Yeah, very impressive. He's probably made amends for running out Virat Kohli last Test match. So fair play to him to put that behind him and really put India in the driving seat of his Test match. Quality innings, and I was reading somewhere that he's one of few captains to have scored a century in Australia. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I'm sure I'll find it and let you know. But yeah, quality innings from Rahane, and put India in the driving seat. So fair play to him.
Yeah, 100%. I think Vihari obviously not quite coming good again. 21 off 66, and Rishabh Pant again trying to put impetus into the innings. Couldn't quite do it. Both falling to one to Lyon, one to Stark in the end.
But wasn't Rahane dropped a couple of times?
Yeah, I think he was.
He was dropped in his 40s, and then later on in the day, he was dropped. Was it by, I think, point, or where he was running in? I think it was Travis Head, and he full length dive, and he seemed to have caught it, but when it hit the ground, it just popped out. Just thinking, oh, that's not ideal. And Australian fielding, some of the drops they haven't been their usual best. It's not the standard that Australia would pride themselves with. So that's something they need to look at.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Actually, that's something I want to touch upon a little bit as well. Obviously, Jadeja with Rahane 40 not out as well. So him and Rahane both, kind of set really, and to go into day 3 to hopefully put on, I'm assuming that they'll want to put on a big total here. And 300 plus is definitely on the cards, 100%. They're probably looking more in the region of 350. Yeah, exactly. So, and if they put that on, Australia's batsmen are going to be under a lot of pressure to get a big score there. And we know that, look, I mean, I can't really think of a single batsman who really looks in nick for Australia at the moment. So I think it's a bit worrying for them. So they're going to want to try and really, I think that first session, I keep saying this, but I think the first session of the day, tomorrow of day 3, is going to be really pivotal, because if they don't get those early wickets, if they don't displace these two batsmen, it's going to be very difficult for them to claw back.
Yeah, they could be facing a 150 plus deficit. So yeah, you are right, Fizan. The first half an hour, first hour of tomorrow, or will be crucial in this Test match. But I must add, Fizan. I think maybe I did write India off. Maybe I shouldn't have, after their poor batting display after the first Test match when they got all out for 36, the lowest ever Test total. So I think I will put my hands up and say I did write them off, and maybe I shouldn't have done. And they've done well, and I think I did mention that there are players that can perform when they need to, and Rahane did that today, and Jadeja did that today, and you must say Jadeja wouldn't, he probably wouldn't be in the team if Kohli was playing, potentially. So yeah, so fair play to him as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think look, you need players to step up when players are absent, I think, for sure. And obviously that's what Rahane did in this instance. Obviously he's a mainstay for India and has kind of stepped up as captain, done a good job here. Australia, I think they'll be disappointed. I think because I just, for me, at 64 for 3, they let it get away from them. I think for sure. I just don't think. Look, I mean, obviously, then Rahane and Vihari put on a partnership of 50 odd, and then after that, really, there was Rishabh Pant. But then after that, look, that's 173 for 5, and then they let another 100 runs slip through. So I just think for them, the wickets are too few and far between, I think, for Australia there. And they would have been disappointed not to capitalise once a wicket was taken, for sure. But very good application, I think, from India. But one thing to definitely note, as you said, Venu, is the fielding. And I think I was actually going to mention this to you because I think fielding at the moment, and I don't know whether it's teams not particularly putting more emphasis on it or as people switching off, but there seems to have been a little bit of sloppy fielding in this test match as well. There was a little bit in the Pakistan match and also in the Sri Lanka match as well. And I think all 3 test matches, there's been a little bit, just hasn't been quite up to the standards that I usually see. And especially from Australia, who, as you said, are renowned for being extremely good fielding outfit. But yeah, maybe it's just a day off for sure. What do you think about day 3 then? How do you think it's going to go?
As you said, Fizan, I think I'll let you know after the first half an hour tomorrow because that's crucial. But India looked good. I think you are right in saying that if Australia can get one of Rahane and Jadeja out, they've really into the tail. Like Ashwin can bat a bit, but Yadav, Bumrah and Siraj, they don't really have any first-class batting runs. So, yeah, it can go either 2 ways. The first, as you rightly said, Fizan, the first half an hour tomorrow is going to be crucial, but I think Rahane will stick in there and try and get the lead to 150 plus and really be in a driving seat of the test match to make it 1-1.
Yeah, 100%. I think actually, if they do manage to win this test match, India, then I think it really sends a signal to Australia to say, look, we're not down and out. We're coming for this and we're definitely a big threat and you've got to take us seriously. And I think Australia, I don't know whether they've slept on India a little bit or whether it was just a little bit of naivety, but I think you're right. That first session, as I said, is really pivotal. And I don't know. How do I see it going? I would assume that they're going to pick up an early wicket in the session, just because I think they're that potent a bowling attack. But it's just who they pick up. I think if they pick up Rahane, that's more important at this point, just because even he's ticking along at a quicker rate as well. Jadeja, I think obviously he can do damage later on, but I think they need to pick up at least 1 wicket early doors, otherwise it's going to be messy for them. But yeah, I think as you said, maybe we both slept on India a little bit because I think we both said that I think it could even be 3-0, 4-0, kind of dropping after that first test, but it doesn't. Go on.
We're kind of quick to our conclusions there, but maybe I think Australia did the same as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think they have. I just think they went with the same team, right? Because they won. But as you said, and you pointed out previously, that in that first test, India and Australia was very evenly contested for the first 2 days. It was just the third day when obviously they got skittled 36, where it made a difference. And obviously that was a big day because it made the test, basically decided the test match. But they maybe have slept on the fact that there were some holes that need to be filled, and they haven't looked at that. And sometimes that happens when you win. You just think, I'll just go with the same team. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the test match. But it's intriguing for sure. But Australia definitely need to buck up in that third day. Otherwise, as you said, India are going to be flying away in this test match. Okay. Anything else you want to touch upon before we wrap up?
Not really. Look, tomorrow's going to be an intriguing day, pivotal day of the test match. So I'm looking forward to it.
100%. Yeah, can't wait for it. Okay. Thank you very much, Venu. And guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.